Ting-Lu has been a rock-solid presence in Scarlet and Violet Ubers, and even after Miraidon's ban, it somehow remained one of the best balanced staples in the tier, even with its most important check having been banned. With the new meta forming, its typing still has a lot to offer in the tier, not to mention the roll compression it offers, which is crucial for balanced staples. Its ability to phase, force progress with hazards, strong stab and earthquake, which hits a lot of the tier for neutral if not super effective damage, and the ever so consistent damage of ruination. It's no wonder Ting-Lu would be a good Pokemon, but how is it holding its own in Ubers? Let's go more in depth as to why Ting-Lu is so underrated in Ubers, and how it finds itself as a staple on balanced teams. One quick note, a quick update on Frank, the Dawn fan. It's now been months since the passing of Frank's parents, Iron Treads and Great Tusk, and Frank has took to the streets of Paldea as a vigilante. To support Frank, please subscribe, as this YouTube channel is his sole form of income. Thanks. I am just in utter shock and disbelief. I spent maybe 10 minutes talking about this Ting-Lu just to realize my mic was muted on OBS, so just gonna redo this whole thing real quick. Yeah, I also just wanted to say really quick, if you guys enjoy these type of videos, this is kind of different from what I usually do. It's not really those full edited videos, it's not really those showdown lives, but if you guys do enjoy these type of videos, please let me know. I enjoy making them, they're pretty fun to make. But yeah, as you can see, sorry, pretend you didn't see that Ting-Lu there, right? We're gonna start with a blank one because I want to talk about this thing. Yeah, Ting-Lu, after the Miraidon ban, as a player, I fully expected this thing to fall off. But what's happened in it is sort of interesting. Its dark ground typing sort of worked where the ground typing was really the only reason you'd use it, because it completely nullified those Miraidon Electro Drifts and its neutral into the Draco Meteor. And that dark typing was sort of a detriment, right? It didn't match well up into Zacian, Koraidon. I guess it did fine to Necrozma Dustmane, but that was about it. You didn't really use it as a Necrozma Dustmane check. And now it's sort of working the other way, right? Because you have all these powerful psychic attackers that are so much more what's exactly the word to use? They're so much more present, because this is my theory, right? I believe with the Miraidon ban, ground types became less important and dark types became so much worse, just because Koraidon's obviously still insanely powerful, right? The number one thing that Koraidon stops from existing is the dark types. That lets psychic types be that much stronger, right? If you look at the viability rankings, strong psychic special attackers are just everywhere, right? You have Lunala in A-, you have Mewtwo in B+, you have Deoxys attack and speed. Speed not so much, it's not really an attacker, but you have Deoxys attack in B. You got Necrozma Dawnwings in C+. All these special attackers, all these powerful special attackers that can really poke holes in balance particularly, just get absolutely nullified by Ting-Lu. Especially, I think this is the biggest reason, especially Arceus Ghost, not a psychic attacker, but, you know, Arceus Ghost, Lunala, and Mewtwo, those are the biggest ones, especially Lunala. Lunala loves to poke holes in balance. It all depends on the set, but different teams can handle different sets differently, right? If you're running like there's the two big ones. There's Moongeist Beam and Moonblast with Terra Fairy, and there's Moongeist Beam with Psyshock and a defensive Terra, say Terra Poison. The Terra Poison does mess with teams. Say, okay, let's take the balance team I was running for the short clips before this, for example. That would completely destroy this one, right? The Moongeist CM one, Moongeist Psyshock, that would just completely fuck up this team. But when you have something like Ting-Lu, that just fully nullifies both those stabs. And if just, you can always switch it in and just force progress off of something like Lunala, Arceus Ghost, Mewtwo, things like that. And the ways it can force progress are so impactful to the game that it's just the reason I think it's stayed so consistent, right? Let's talk about the ways it forces progress, right? These four moves you're always going to see in Ting-Lu, maybe with a little bit of variation. I've seen weird things. I've seen like Speed Crep Ting-Lu with Taunt. For other Ting-Lus and Trick Room attackers, I've seen like Rocky Helmet Ting-Lu. But realistically, it's these four moves. You're going to want Earthquake for that strong ground stab, right? Base 110 attack, even uninvested, is not really much to scoff at. It's going to be doing decent damage to things. If you can get a defensive Terra, say on like Zacian, I know this calc like the back of my... Or like this is an important calc to know, but Zacian will always close combat into something like this. If you Terra Poison on that, after the -1 drop, Earthquake always kills from full. You have Earthquake, you got Ruination. Ruination is just so good at forcing progress, especially on things like Balance. The ability to just bring everything, cut its HP in half, makes its teammates so much better at picking things off. When its most common teammate on Balance is like Scarf Koraidon, Scarf Koraidon can pick off damn near everything on this on these viability rankings under 50% HP. And I don't think there are any Scarfers that are like real and consistently run that can outspeed that. And then in the last two slots, you're going to want Spikes. Spikes are just so good at forcing progress. Just look at these viability rankings. Because of the nature of Ubers, a lot of these are box legends that have to carry special items. Zacian crowned all the Arceus forms except for Arceus normal, but, you know, you're just hitting so much with Spikes. Koraidon is never running heavy duty boots. You're almost always running Scarf or loaded dice. That's getting hit by Spikes. Zacian crown is getting hit by Spikes. All the Arceus forms I already talked about, those are getting hit by Spikes. Let's see what else. Those are honestly the most important ones, and those are incredibly common. Zacian crowned and an Arceus form is going to pop up in damn near every single game, unless you're playing like hard stall and they got like the Stalsius. And then in the last move, we want Whirlwind. Phasing is, I think, it's not necessarily underrated, but especially in modern gens, right? Phasing is something that's not, at least in my opinion, not thought about as much. But in Ubers, it is just so nice to have a phaser when the only other consistent phasers in the tier is something like Ho-Oh, right? The Arceus forms can run Roar, but that's really hard to fit in their already super limited movesets. And being able to phase when there's so many boost sweepers in the tier is so nice, right? You got Necrozma Dustmane, Zacian Crown. You're not really going to be phasing Zacian Crown out often, but, you know, you can. All the special attacking Arceus forms that it doesn't get hit super effectively by, that just being Arceus Ground, but Calm Mind Arceus Ground does not really exist anymore. Being able to phase out Lunala, phase out Arceus Ghost. You can phase out a lot of things here. And even if on face value you can't phase out, I think Ting-Lu as a Terramon has also what just made it so good in this meta, right? Ting-Lu, if you're going to Terra it, I think you can still get a shit ton of mileage out of it. Onto the Terra, and onto that Terra, there's two main Terras it's running. What used to be before the Miraidon ban, the standard was always Poison. Into Poison, you flip the script on a lot of the bonds that would normally revenge kill you. Koraidon, clicking close combat into you, now you resist that. Zacian, clicking close combat or play rough into you, you now resist that. Arceus Fairy, you now beat that 1v1 depending on the set. Eternatus, you can't get poisoned anymore. Kyogre is still doing a decent amount of damage to you neutrally, but I guess in a pinch. What else? Is there anything else that's poison's really good? No, that's pretty much it. And then the other main Terra is Arceus. I am on crack right now. I'm sorry, I'm like re-recording this whole thing after I just got all my thoughts out. So my thoughts are all over the place. And then the other Terra is Grass. Grass is really just to flip the script on Arceus Water, or not, more so Kyogre, but also Arceus Water in a pinch. You know, if you really have to, you can flip the script on that guy. Okay, nice. I love that Wi-Fi. Yeah, I don't know. What else could I talk about? Oh, the other thing. Why I think Ting-Lu's flip the script on the typing. That ground typing's become a detriment now just because the water types are so much more popular with Miraidon's ban. You see Arceus Water and Kyogre both rose up in the rankings and are much better Pokemon. And with Koraidon being so much more omnipresent, Koraidon already with its existence was a detriment to any dark types, right? But now, more so, I think it's more of a detriment to dark types. And with that, there's so many more psychic type attackers. I don't know if I already said this, actually. Did I already say this in the beginning? I might just be going insane. I gotta lay off the weed. But yeah, with so much less high-ranking dark types, those psychic types can just exist and spam psychic moves. You've seen things like Iron Defense, Calm Mind, Stored Power, Necrozma Dustmane pop up and just like win in tours, right? Outright, just because dark types are not that common. And you're seeing all these psychic special attackers. Deoxys Attack. You got Deoxys Attack. You got Mewtwo. You got where's the guy? Where's the guy? My guy. Necrozma Dawnwings. You got Lunala. Those are all Pokemon that Ting-Lu just absolutely owns and are just so bad into balance, right? You see those into a balance team, those are usually not good. But Ting-Lu just fits into those balance teams so nice and offers so much. I'd be hard-pressed to find a game where Ting-Lu does absolutely nothing, right? Ting-Lu just can tank so much, and it always forces progress somehow. Anything it does in a game will be felt, I feel. You click Ruination, you just got 50% off a main threat, right? A spike goes a long way in a tier like Ubers, where you don't have a lot of knockers and a lot of things are forced to not run heavy duty boots. Or the two most important things that can't run heavy duty boots, Zacian and the Arceuses, are very, 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 very common. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty much all I want to talk about. Oh, I guess I could talk about the moveset too, or the move slot. Heavy duty boots is ran on teams where it's harder to stop spikers and rockers, but on teams where you can, like say this team that I was running, leftovers is really nice on a team like this, right, where it's not too passive. You have a lot of things that don't commonly run taunt that have taunt, so you can stop other things from rocking or spiking. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Ting-Lu's just kind of that guy. I don't know if it's underrated or slept on, but I always found it really interesting how this like normal OU Pokemon can hold its own, and does hold its own very, very, very well in Ubers. Yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know down below if there's anything else you guys would want me to cover. Let me know. I feel like I know way too much about this tier, and I just love talking about it. Yeah. Leave a like, comment, all that good stuff, and peace.